Hey there guys, Micah Curtis here, and before we get started with today's video, just wanted to let you guys know we're really close to getting $10,000 on 3 Nights 4 Days Part 1. If you haven't backed the book yet, please click the link in the description. It'll take you right to it. If you are part of the mailing list and you did want to get your hands on those virgin covers, but you can't find the link for whatever reason, let Hatman know, at the Hat2 on Twitter, or email him at alex@hatman.net and let him know. We'll check your email address against the list that we have, and then we'll go ahead and get you that link so you can get that super secret Virgin Covers perk. So, needless to say, though, we're really close. This is already only a few grand away from my biggest crowdfunding effort of all time with Inglewood Book 1. So, I really want to thank you guys for giving me this opportunity to provide another comic, and it's very different from my last one, which... You know, my last one was a superhero story. This one's a horror comic. So, but this is a book that's going to set the foundation for everything that I do in the future. So, definitely a comic to check out. So, what we're going to talk about today, I wouldn't call it drama. I just want to talk about theory and about crowdfunding comic books in general. So, Smiling Bandito, who's a great guy, co-hosts some of Michael Bancroft's streams. Michael Bancroft, the creator of The Lucent, a fantastic artist and great guy, put up the question, and he's going to do a whole stream about it, which I'll try to tune in and catch. But I have shows today, so I'm not going to have the energy to do another live stream after the two I'm going to be doing. But he says here, we know Comicsgate is awesome, but is it actually better than what is out there? Comicsgate isn't the only crowdfunding group, and more pros are going to be lining up on Indiegogo. Are we destined to plateau, being the new kid on the block, or overshadowed by famous names? And this was my prediction. I'm actually going to expand on it. I said, I think that more established names will crowdfund and make around six figures. If you look at Sean Gordon Murphy, that's a really good example. I said some of those will declare that they're Comicsgate. We will get more Mikes and Dougs than we do Dan Fragas. The up-and-comers will stay consistent and fulfill their books. By up-and-comers, I mean people who are new to creating comic books. So myself, the Diaz brothers, Preston Acevedo, who is also my artist on 3 Nights 4 Days, 656 Studios, Michael Bancroft, Liam Gray, others. Like, those are the guys that I have no doubt are going to fulfill. And they're going to be the consistency. Whereas pros are going to come in, they're going to get a slice of the pie, and then they're going to leave, is basically what I'm saying here. And then here is, the reason for this is that many pros in the mainstream see customers as a paycheck. They're going to interact with the internet crowd, and it's going to be a nightmare for them. The up-and-coming understand the landscape. Will keep fulfilling and remain CG's heart and soul. Now, this is probably going to insult some people out there that I know that are pros. And I don't mean to be insulting by this. I'm just calling it like I see it. I prefer to call balls and strikes whenever it comes to these situations. And back in 2018, while I was writing Inglewood and Project Lazarus and a bunch of other stuff and focusing on my day job, and not kind of dialing it back with like stream appearances and things like that, the thing for me was I started to just watch what was going on with Ethan's channel, because I saw him becoming more and more popular, and knowing that he was the type to be out there, do more live streams because he enjoyed being a show host, he was going to be the channel to watch. He was inevitably going to be the most popular person in Comicsgate. And lo and behold, I was right. And one thing that I knew going into this is that some people were going to look at the movement, which is a fan movement at its core. Some people are going to see that as, the people that they want their audience to be, that they want the loyal people, they want the people who want good comic books and things like that. And then there's other people that are going to look at them and see a quick buck and a way to just pay their bills, and a way to, put more money in their 401k and things like that. And then there was going to be, up-and-coming guys who were going to come in, have successful crowdfunds, and then they were going to see the possibility of a future within comic books with the things that they can do. And, of course, I'm the latter of all three of those. And I don't think and the reason that I'm saying what I'm saying is I don't think anything's changed. I think the only thing that has changed is that the mainstream is in a position where COVID has hit it very, very hard, and there's some people who have not been paid for a while, and they're starting to feel it. And one thing they're going to see is a quick buck is going crowdfunding. And it wouldn't surprise me if there's a lot of people that are, considering that model. On top of that, we are going to see more and more people who are pros declare Comicsgate. And we will get, I would probably say, I think there's probably going to be about 10 they're going to end up declaring. And I will say we get maybe 3 Dan Fragas out of them. Dan, of all the pros that have declared themselves Comicsgate and gone on to have their own crowdfunding projects and things like that, I would say that of the one that I think will stick true to what we would call the Comicsgate model, Dan Fraga is the one guy. Because Mitch Breitweister is doing stuff with Allegiance Arts, which, God bless him, but, Red Rooster needs to be in the hands of its backers, not in Walmart. They need to get first access, I've thought about distributing Inglewood #1 to comic book stores, and that may end up happening at some point in the near future. I'm looking into things like that. But not until the book is fulfilled. And even then, the edition that I put in the hands of my backers will be different than the ones that would hit comic book stores. Print quality would be higher, so on and so forth. So the thing to keep in mind is that that's what people are going to be looking at. Is they're going to be looking out for themselves, and they're going to be they're just going to see the audience as pay pigs. That's how Doug TenNapel largely sees his audience. That's how Mike S. Miller largely sees his audience, what little of it's left. And because of that attitude, especially with Mike Miller, he fucked himself. And then Doug TenNapel's fan base are people who know Earthworm Jim, but don't pay attention to the stuff he does on Twitter or YouTube or anything like that. So, when I look at this sort of a situation, that is just the way that I see it playing out. I would like to be proven wrong. What I would like to see is what I think an industry is supposed to do. What I would like to see is see the big names take a vested interest not only in doing their own work, but in helping the younger generation in improving their craft and helping them get ready to become the next big name, Because you look at the comic book industry as it is right now, how many young talents do they have, that have been brought up in these companies? How many? It's one. It's Donny Cates. That's it. The rest of the writers around his age are fucking terrible, And then the other people that are out there that have started, that now are making their names, they're in their 40s. And they made their names through Vertigo. Well, Vertigo's dead. That option is out the fucking door. There's not a lot of talent in the big two. There's just not. And the talented guys are all in the indies. And a lot of them are kind of groping around in the dark trying to figure this whole thing out by themselves. And that is sort of the downside of being independent, is that, unless somebody takes a liking to you and wants to mentor you, there's a good chance that you're going to try to figure out everything yourself, and you're going to end up, fucking something up. I'm lucky enough that I am one of those guys that got really, really good advice from a lot of professionals who have been in the business a long time, you know, and they took a vested interest in me, and I greatly appreciate it. And they're part of the reason that Inglewood was as good as it was, you know. But a lot of what I'm noticing really in Comicsgate isn't so much the bigger names, because they don't know the new guys, you know, and they're not going to just trust them, you know. And it's not like they have a big publisher looming over their head saying, hey, you got to help this guy or else you're not getting paid, you know. So it's not their responsibility to take care of the younger guys. What I'm seeing that's happening instead is a lot of the guys who are up and coming are, you know, creating their own little social groups, and they're helping each other. And then the big banner that unites us all is the principles of Comicsgate. But either way, that is kind of the weird way that the new breed of comics, the guys that will be talked about in 10 years, are gonna come up. You know, they're gonna come up with that sort of a upbringing. And it's gonna be a real independent spirit, and it's gonna be really interesting to see how it turns out. But how many of us will end up working for the big two? Probably not many. I fully expect the comic book divisions of Marvel and DC to probably be shut down within the next 5 years. And they're just going to use the characters for movies and video games. And comic books will be an independent thing. And probably won't be something that they touch for a while. And it's an industry that has basically committed suicide. Very, very slow suicide by taking fucking rat poison or something. I don't know. But that's sort of my feelings on the direction of this next phase of Comicsgate when it happens. Is, yeah, there's going to be some pros that come in, and some people that know them personally are going to be excited for them. Others are going to look at them and go, I don't know about this guy. And by the way, neither of those ideas are unwarranted. The person who knows the other guy is going to obviously have more faith in him than the person who doesn't. You know? So, either way, it is a weird place to be in as an industry. But I know that my goal with Sleeveless Comics is basically to adhere to the ethics of Comicsgate, you know, being a fan-centric imprint, and doing my best to basically try to bring good comics to the public. So I'm officially looking into ways to get these books into shops. But right now my main focus is getting 3 Nights 4 Days funded, and then next month hopefully getting to do a Second Chance Inglewood campaign. And I think I have an idea for the cover on that one that'll fit with July 4th. So, alright folks, with all that said, I'm going to go ahead and take off. Once again, if you have not already, please back 3 Nights 4 Days on Indiegogo. I don't know if we're going to go past 30 days. Right now, the main thing is let's just get funded first. And if we could do that within, the first few weeks of the book being out there, within the first, 16 days, it'd mean the world to me. Seriously. But until that time, folks, my name is Micah Curtis, head of Sleeveless Comics, also known as Vanilla Garad. See you next time.